What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, do everything necessary to get this thing to live long, thrive, and survive, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at XRP here, team. We are on the 30-minute time frame right here, and I gotta say, man, that it's shortly after we put out the video yesterday, right? The 1, 2, 3 pop video, we actually nailed, I mean, this thing here, man, it nailed the freaking sell signal in one shot, and it said, get out in that panic, right? This thing dropped from the 324 area all the way down to what we saw at around 305, which is some of the targets that we were still observing to the downside, guys. So mad shout out to this freaking algorithm, guys, that we put together here. So remember, guys, if you still want it, it's still part of the end of the year sales event, right? You're going to notice that little link right up in here in the top right, or you can click at the very bottom description, guys, because I'm letting it out for now for a very, very cheap price, still pertinent to the end of the year sale. Okay, guys, so get your hands on that thing and you go ahead and forward test it as you will. Okay, guys, momentum channels is what it is. All right, so anyway, team, after we got that downside to that 305 target, maybe I don't even know if we saw the 304 even, right? But after we got that downside, we did make a quick recovery here, and we've been kind of consolidating in time. But I do have some things that I want to share with you, right? I have a a few perspectives that I want to indicate here for you. Okay, well, aside from this, right, I know that I was kind of this is something that I kind of drew here in my own time, and I was observing this this pocket of support and resistance, right? This is an area here that's very liquid. So in other words, it's a zone that we can experience a lot of resistance from, right? So meaning that price action can essentially have room to fail within this area here, right? So if we're observing the opening and closing valuations of candles, it's very confluent to this zone at about 320, right? So that 320 area is concentrated. That means that we could use this center bound on this candle here to identify what could be a dead cat bounce, okay, guys? So I want to make sure that I can give you all the opportunities available here while the price action is still within our grasp, right? Before this thing starts to pop open, that is. So just in case, we're going to go over here the bearish conditions and the bullish conditions so we can make an educated guess over what could be happening next. Okay, guys, so this is indicating here a potential target to the downside that we already spoke of at 291.10, right? And here you go. This is, well, I mean, whatever that target could be, let's adjust it just like that, right? So whatever that is, it's that, right? So the dead cat bounce from forming it within the immediate short term is indicating a target that we've already talked about. Okay, guys, so now this is the channel, or this is the triangle that we were using to break down, right, to get the targets for the breakdown. Here's your 303.76, right? This is your 310 target. And we were even identifying the potentials of down to 295.51. I don't know what this is there. Okay, yeah. So even the target's down to 295.51. So we broke down below, right? We got that quick little bounce here, right? Then we ended up falling beneath that support, coming all the way down to the lows of what we said already, the 305 area, which, you know, pretty much came down to this target right about here, right, guys? So pretty damn good in line with the forward look. Now, as you can see, price action came up to kind of test this regression here, right? So that's very curious that it would fail, and then it came up here acting like the triangle validation breakout type of thing that would happen, but it did something interesting. It came back up and tested this regression, and during that process it still came up again, and it's testing that regression one more time here. So that led me to observe this in a different manner. Okay, so now what I'm looking at here is actually a potential channel. So this is just the 30-minute time frame. In fact, here you go. This is the hourly time frame here, right? XRP, and this is the hourly time frame XRP, the same time frame, just from a different perspective, just so I can use an imagination for you to observe in a different way, right? So this is now a different type of bullish formation. So now this is officially a bullish formation, and this would be indicating some top sides coming in. Okay, now the thing is that it ready? Is this ready for official breakout? Well, that's going to be dependent on psychology here, guys, because we do have two independent regressions that are serving as resistances as we speak. So that's not typical for a formation like this. In fact, if we can use a 2-hour time frame, maybe we can diminish the amount of grabs that we have at those resistances. But even still, check it out. Resistance here, there. All these are super confluent with that top side. And even if you use the top bound of this, you can still see confluence within the top bound for resistance as well, even at that 50% here and 50% right there, right? So this is leading me to believe that we have an overall resistance level. So this kind of confuses things a bit, right? And here's the other thing, guys. We have massive amounts of closures that just happened for this. For example, the 6-hour time frame, we still have about an hour and 20 minutes to go, right? But everything's going to be pertinent to the larger time. So let's do this. One day, right? Your daily closure, an hour and 20 minutes away. Then that's giving us a pretty bearish signal, right? This is gonna be your hanging man candle structure. By daily time frame, closing in 1 hour and 20 minutes as well. This is giving you a tweezer top, red inside bar, bearish condition as well. 3-day time frame is closing as well in 1 hour and 20 minutes. So now, and also check this out, the 6-day time frame is also coming to a close in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Now, if you guys know anything, if you guys know me for the data, you know that these things have decompression periods, right? So for example, right, that 3-day time frame has decompressed because it has around 3.12 hours prior to its close. This thing starts to decompress from its top side down to its 50%, which is kind of what it's doing now, right? And absolutely something that we saw within this time frame, reaching that area of about 305, 304. So it came down past it. So that also tells you here that the 6-day time frame would potentially have done the same thing at that target of around 304. So 304 would be right around here for the 6-day target. Now, the thing is that with the 6-day target, since it's coming to that close, the 50% of this bar is actually very much reliant or super, this is rhyming crazy at that 290. Now, the 290 target is curious because we just talked about a 290 within a more immediate short term. And here it is, right? This is your dead cat bounce 3-hour time frame showing you the target of about 291.50. So we have some rhyming there on a potentially bearish setup, immediate short term, plus a larger one. But these are temporary. These are temporary drops that we can use for potential loading, right? So let's go ahead and take a look back at that larger time frame and see what's up. Price action right now feels like it's breaking out. Now, the thing is that when we break out in price action, there may be a fake out here. Okay, guys, so you can see price action is currently making its way from the time of this recording, which is 2:41 p.m. Pacific time. We are at 2268, resisting or trying to validate the support break, the resistance break of the prior bar high, which is at around 322.81. The upside from this would be quite limited, right? So we do have resistance coming up on this between 324 to just about that 324.87. Okay, guys. So if I guess, let's just say, for example, if I were considering a better position entry, maybe I can consider take profit target from this area here, maybe-ish, right? So here's another thing, right? So your bull flag target based on this immediate short-term time frame formation here, this would be your bull flag, right? And these would be the candles that would tend to reach to that target. So let's just see what that measured move would be from the top of the bull flag here, right, to the very bottom of the bull flag, right about there. I think that this would go slightly past it, maybe. There we go. So this would be a target of about 327.47. So now that gives us a range. This spot right here. Okay, guys, so we extend this area here into that zone, and that would tell us now that the 50% plus this area and this area would be an area of resistance that we absolutely need to get over before we can continue to the upside, 324 to 326. And guess what? Take a look at this here. In my observations before I even saw that thing that we just did, look at what I drew here. 323.07 to 326.68, just by a different visceral perspective, right, guys? So that's my biases are also rhyming. I got to make sure that I catch my psychology within this analysis too, right? So that's pretty good that we're identifying the same resistance twice in two different methods and two different psychological reasons. Okay, guys, so there could be resistance at this point here. Now, if that is the case, then this could present. Oh man, so okay. this could present something interesting. Okay, so let's look at that daily time frame again. Okay, guys. All right. So yeah, we would see 326 to the upside. It's telling us, right? So if the daily time frame is closing anywhere where we are here, the daily time frame has room enough to go towards that upside and resist at this point here, which is located right at about 324.55, 325. So that's already at the resistance that we were talking about. Okay, so that would be huge resistance on the daily. What about the buy daily? Because that's also closing. Okay, the buy daily time frame has resistance at 325 as well, guys. 324.51, 325. So if this thing comes back here and during the next hour and 15 minutes, right, 2 hours prior to its close, which is already within that time frame because we're on the daily. On the buy daily here, this would start to decompress down to its 50%. Now, the buy daily time frame has its own valuation for a 50% as well, right? So we would draw it just like this here just to see where that 50% could be. 50% is telling us that this would be at $3.20. Okay, so that would be a drop from that 324 down to 320. Now remember that the 3-day time frame is also closing, guys. So now the 3-day time frame would introduce support right near the buy daily support bound, which would be also right about at this point here, and that's indicating 320, right? Which would be the prior bar's high. Okay, but what about the next 3-hour bar? Because the next 3-hour bar has a 60 to 70% probability of retracing back to its 50%. This is complex as hell. So if it does have those probabilities to retrace that 50%, then where could it be? So let's take a look. This has a 50% retrace, the 3-day that we're about to close. Remember, in hour 14. If this retraces back to its 50% at the 60 to 70% probabilities that it would, then the 50% of the 3-day time frame is located at around 314, 315. So that is now creating a little bit of a lower bound before it can use the 320 as resistance for continuation. Holy crap. Let's go to the 6-day time frame now. So 6 days, if this retraces the 50% because it is an hour to the close and we're about to open the new 6-day bar and there are 60 to 70% probabilities that it retraces to a 50%, what's the 50% of this freaking monster, right? So we would identify that like this. Let's put together this thesis here to understand that there is a probability for it. Okay, that would be identified as $2.82, but this would get in the way. This wick up here would get in the way from us getting all the way down there. What is that wick doing? Well, that's sitting at 290. 290. Interesting. Okay, so this 290 right here that we just talked about. Remember, we just pointed out that 290 from a dead cat bounce, right over here. There could be a reason for a dead cat bounce in this current structure because that's kind of like what price is doing. Is dropping, lift off, dropping, lift off, dropping, lift off, maybe drops into the next target here. That would be located at this point here because we measured the dead cat, which is also confluent to the target in a 6-day retrace to where? 290. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, guys. We are looking pretty good. We're within that liquidity sweep zone. There could be a little bit of a bull trap in here. So now let's go ahead and take a look at some volatility versus momentum and see what's up. Guys, please remember that I want you guys to learn how to do this. Make sure to get your butts over here because we just started week number 2 and this is still very early in the course. Okay, guys, arcmasterscourse@gmail.com. Make sure to reach out to me for the beginners and trading, the beginners trading and charting mentorship program, right, guys? It's about 8 to 10 weeks long. I want you guys in there, right? Let's get you changed. Let's make sure here that you can observe price action in a different way, a mathematical perspective, right? Let's put some education here into our craft. Okay, so let's pull up. That's right. Let's get the volatility versus momentum profile here from the immediate short term and see what's up. 15-minute time frame does have a little bit of volatility spike here. Very nice. And it does show indication towards upside continuation in the stochastic momentum indicator from an area called the gravitational point. Good. 15-minute time frame cascades into the 30-minute. The 30-minute time frame is over in 11 minutes and 40 seconds, right? And it's closing a little bit of a short green bar in comparison to the one prior to that. And it's also kind of at overbought. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have any upside left. In fact, it has some upside left considering a 30-minute time frame with expansion, by the way. So I think that the 30-minute time frame, right, still has an upside bias. If it does have an upside bias, it's probably leading towards that hourly time. The hourly time is also over in 11 minutes. If the hourly time frame still has some upside, there's got to be a little bit left even still. Bi-hourly time frame over in 1 hour. Okay, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we can observe how these things are going to shift here. So if we say here that an hourly time frame would be the or let's see, bi-hourly, do we still have upside on that? Let's use the closing valuations of the 30-minute and the hourly time frame because they're going to close in 10 minutes here, right, guys? So usually 7 to 10 minutes to the close of the 30 and the 1 hour, even the 2 and 3 hours too. Those would be areas for them to pull back their gain, right? 50% of their gain. So this is getting really close. The decompression from this current bar here could be down to about, I'd say, a range of 321.72 to right about 321.27 in the immediate short term. So that kind of shifts volatility a little bit. 30-minute time frame would be an upside validation to get the 50%. But remember that at 7 to 9 minutes, it would start retracing. So this is likely to kind of hover here for a bit. We're going to consolidate for the current moment. And then we got to see, right? So these levels of consolidation could be 321.75 to about 322.56. Bounce in and out of this area here. Okay, so bi-hourly time frame though still has an upside suggestion. Now the bi-hourly time frame has an ATR, that average true range of about 8 cents from the open of the bar. So 320, it would go up to maybe 328, and it still hasn't reached that 328 target due to whatever resistances we have there. But if it does go towards that 328, then we do have a resistance bound that we already talked about, right? 323 to nearly 327, 326.68. That's looking pretty good, even mathematically, for the bi-hourly time frame. But do we have continuation to the upside? Weak upside on the 3-hour time frame with 10 cents from the open. 320 would lead to 330. Lots of things to get in the way of that, and this is very, very low volume for a 3-hour time. 4-hour time frame, guys. This is looking like it's, yeah, we have 1 hour to close the 4-hour, and this is looking like a shoot. It's looking like a hanging man right there, a little bit bearish, right, guys? And also notice that this upside, the upside that we're presenting here, is decreasing in volatility. So that is suggesting that the buy side is a little bit weak at the present moment. Now, the 6-hour time frame is still showing some upside here. Got an hour to close, which is looking pretty good. And honestly, the 6-hour time frame pulls back to its 50%. That would be an opportunity at around 319. We already spoke about that, 319 too. Next thing to observe here is that the 8-hour time frame is also closing, right? That 8-hour time frame closing in about let's see. So that would give us about 45 minutes prior to its close. 40 minutes prior to its close, the 8-hour would start to decompress. That's pretty damn close to that. And we're also pretty damn close to the resistance. So the 50% of the 8-hour bar would drop down to 318. Okay, and that's already giving us a little bit of suggestion towards that downside, even in spite of this huge green candle here. But, you know, this green candle was not as powerful as that red one, and this one is still not as powerful as that red one either. Okay, 12-hour time frame is closing here in 1 hour and 8 minutes too. Now, this is what's scary to me. A 12-hour time frame is absolutely retracing to its 50%. This is the entire bar here, and we're right at that 50% zone within this 12-hour bar. So that means that this would decompress down to its 50%. So its 50% is located conveniently enough at 320 as well. Daily closing. This one would also introduce resistance, like we said, right up there at 320. And if it does retrace to its 50%, it would be somewhere in here, 316, 315. You see how the times are cascading? Hour and 7 minutes to close the buy daily. 50% of the buy daily is 320. 3-day time frame, 50% of its own bar would be 315. Again, 315 to 320-ish is what I'm seeing here a lot. 4-day time frame closing in 2 days, nothing there. 5-day time frame, nothing there. And if I were to suggest anything, I think your 18-day time frame, like Baby Quinn pointed out very cleverly, this is also 1 hour and 7 minutes to close, and the 50% of this is located at around 260. 260 invalidates at 272 because of this huge wick, and it also invalidates at this wick because this would support from there, and that bottom side is still 290. Oh my God, what a headache. I think, guys, that I'm going to say this. I personally think that if we just leave a risk on from like 315 through to, you know, like potential bottom size of 315 to 320. Leave some reserves in there for a potential drop into 304 or even the 290. And everything would be cool, right? That's the dynamic of many time frames closing all at once. So the target for the immediate short term we can observe too, based on that channel that we were taking a look at, right? So that channel from the what was it, like the 3-hour time frame or the bi-hourly time frame, whatever this is, we can quantify that upside too. Let's just say that we started breaking out here on maybe not this bar, the next bar. If we started breaking out of that bar, I'm going to give you guys here the bull case. This is going to be your topside target here for the more immediate short term, like literally within the next few hours, even into today, right? This would be an upside of about $3.45 based on the total upside of this, of the channel. The lower side of the channel would give you a slightly different target, and that target would be located, right? I'm going to just go ahead and put it here, and that would be located at 341, which is confluent to our 340 all-time high already. Good stuff. All right. One more thing to look at. There is an inverse head and shoulders right here, right, guys? We are noticing that there is absolutely a reason for us to have a psychological break to the upside. And if my strategy students know anything, we are clearly identifying here a bullish buy formation breakout strategy. Okay, guys, we have now the two targets that we can get from this channel. Right now, we identify the neckline from our inverse head and shoulders, which could very well be this regression right here. Okay, so if that's the regression there, let's go ahead and take that measurement from the center of the head, right, the lowest point of the head, and then apply it to the midpoint of our right hand shoulder, according or in line with that regression, right? So this is the regression that we chose here, and guess what the target is? Oh my goodness, man. So we have complete confluence to this target here. In fact, look at this. I wouldn't be surprised if they're 50% of each other. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous the way that sometimes these things work. So here you go, guys. That's that's presently kind of like what we're observing here. So very, very close to that 50% bound, right? So in reality here, the upside targets would be this right here. 341 center bound located at about, well, it would be the psychological top, right? 343. And then slightly up, 343.11, right? And then the final target would be right about here at that 345.40. So this is what this breakout can kind of, entail, right? It's just my only problem is that we have this upside price with declining volume. That's usually a bull trap, you know what I mean? So just heads up, guys, heads up as this thing starts to potentially break out, because this could give us a little bit of trouble, just a little bit of trouble. There's a lot of opposing signals here, so be protective. Again, maybe that 315 to 320 area could be a good loading zone for this thing, right? As we are kind of rejecting that top bound now and really pulling back. You know, we were at 322, 323.10 just a little bit ago, right? And it's kind of hovering around there now. This is the consolidation that we were just talking about. All right, guys, so heads up on your targets. I'm remaining pretty damn bullish on this thing. I don't think that this is, even if it goes down to 290, even if it goes down to 280, I'm still super bullish on this. So if you want to know that, right, guys, don't forget to get your buy sells algorithm, and also the ARCa Masters course, mentorship program, all of it located in the description below. Okay, guys, so I hope this helps out. I know it's a long ass video, so give me the all the way again in the fucking chat, because I see you guys, every single one of you, putting that all the way in there, man. I love your guys' support so damn much. So I hope this helps. And guys, I'm putting it out there. I try to be as honest as I can with you, and we can do the rest later. Okay. So with that said, I will kind of cut it off here, and we will talk very, 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 very super soon. Okay, team? Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever, ever, and ever. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good rest of your night and or day, and I will catch you at the bell on Tuesday. Adios, team.